This is my favorite deck, Animal Magic. This deck I would say it is one of the best decks I've ever worked with, especially when it comes to reading the runes, actually, because I'm doing oracle mixing now, and a few of my videos has been about how to read tarot cards with runes. And when I really want to practice and I really want to get good at it, what I do is I scan actually these cards. These are animals and magical beings as well. So it's really good. So what I do, I'll cast the runes and I'll see if I can get something very specific about the animal. So it could be how the animal may be, so like a quality of the animal. Sometimes I can see if it is a bird, most likely a bird, or an animal who maybe lives in water and things like that. So the runes, again, if you master the runes, it means you're mastering your own intuition. That's what it means. So I thought what we can do, you pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. I won't look and I'll cast the runes, each number, and I say something specific that is a message, that is also the quality of the animal or the being. And then I will, show you and also see what it says here. And maybe there is a message for you, most likely something that I'll say that is relevant to your situation. So with that in mind, you can pause this video now. Holding your hand here or your fingers here in this energy center here can really help ground you and get you in contact with your inner self and your emotions. Ask to get a number that's most appropriate for what you're going through. Okay? I already got my number and we'll see what happens. So I'll start with number 1. I'll ask the runes to get the message that we need for number 1 that is also relevant to this number, that is gives us the description of the animal or the being in number 1. Okay, I picked quite a lot of runes. Okay, move this down so you can see. So they look like they're reversed, but I'm actually sitting here, so I'm looking. This is the closest rune and this is a rune furthest away. And this rune looks like Fehu reversed, but because I'm looking at it this way, it is actually Fehu upright. So basically this situation for number 1, it is something playing on your mind. It could be some of you have, your imagination has run a bit wild as well. Because we get Lagus here. When Lagus is showing up, it's always something to do with your emotions and your imagination. And it's at the bottom here, so it's at the base of everything that's going on. It's something that you're thinking, and maybe your imagination is taking this to the next level, and maybe it's getting a bit out of hand because of the way you're thinking about it. Otala is in the middle, but it's not upright. It's a little bit on the reverse, so that can mean as well that perhaps it's fear around... it could be about missing out on an opportunity. It could also be fear around people having very low morale, ended up in the middle. And it could be that maybe perhaps the person also is dealing with a lot of shame as well around stuff that has had to do with family as well. At the top is Fehu upright. So that means that the situation that you're in actually is leading you onto a more prosperous path. So everything that's going on now is actually taking you to a much more prosperous path. So what you're getting rid of now is stuff that will lead you, it's just baggage basically, and you are going towards a much more prosperous path. So what this animal magic will help you with is to clear out all the distractions. Because you can see there's distraction right here with Otala, with these runes right next to it, pulling it sort of away from your path here, these distractions. And maybe you have a vivid imagination, so maybe you get easily distracted as well. So what animal is it, or what animal or being is this that we can say something about looking at the runes? So this animal magic is actually also there to help you stay strong in strong wind. So this is, I would say that this animal here could be a fantasy animal. It could have strong association with fantasy as well. It's actually there to give the person strength in when there's a lot of especially when it's emotionally very difficult, and maybe there's a lot of emotional people around as well. It's helping you to stay strong in emotionally charged waters. And that, I think, is a symbol of this animal, is actually to have a lot of integrity in situations where it's easy to lose integrity. So this animal also has to let go of a lot of stuff and has to let go of it quickly. So letting go is a major aspect of this animal. Let's see, bull. So let's see what she says about bull. Oh, it says here, mastering bull magic. You could be interested in mastering the arts of mythology, the mysteries, and writing fantasy stories. That's what Lagus showed up. Through to child welfare, psychology, alternative therapy. So that's where the emotional stuff comes in. So this actually will help you stay strong in, like I said, where it can be very emotional. It can be a lot of distractions, but by mastering it, you can actually do a lot of creative stuff with this, and also be a very strong, a pillar of strength for others as well. So that was number 1. I will be reading from this book. It is one of my, I think this probably of all my oracle decks is my favorite one. Okay, the second one. Put that one there. So what's the message for set number 2? Okay. Let's see. You see Lagus there. Let me move this camera a little bit. Let's see if you can see. Again, this is the closest rune to me, so Vela, I can look straight at it. Lagus is there as well. Again, I think this is someone who makes very good decisions actually. And very strong-willed. People in group 2, they are very strong-willed people. I can see that because this here, Perto, when it shows up, it always means that, it usually means that the person has an element of surprise, that they're able to use to their advantage, and they often can end up in situations where it's very unlikely that they would end up. Or in an environment that it's unlikely, so they use their mind to take themselves places where other people will never be able to go. And also I think because Perto means, it's like a divination cup, so it often means that the seeker is very good at going with the flow as well of what's happening, even though it is unexpected. Here, this is like after you cast it can actually be a divination cup. Once you cast your divination tool, they're actually facing down, they're not revealing themselves. And I think that means that the seeker is not revealing their position, and that's part of why they are good at ending up, and where they end up is because, this is why that's part of their tools actually, is to keep their cards close to their chest, basically. And then we have Hagalas there, which it's a bit on its own. So I again take that the seeker is not afraid of going into hardship, if that means that, if they believe that it's worthwhile their efforts at the end of it, so they're not afraid of a challenge. So I would say this is a very intelligent person. Like this represents an animal or a being here that's very, very intelligent, very strategic, reads the whole, gets a whole picture and can read the whole situation in their environment and make a really good decision what to do. Outsmarts. This is an animal that can outsmart their opponents. I really feel that strongly. let's see, butterfly. Let's see what butterfly means. Okay, so this has to do with, again, being in a situation where it's unlikely that you would end up at you. You will take yourself there. You could be in the process of making new friends or being drawn to the arts, music, theatre or fashion. You may want to explore more cultural activities, become more interested in new languages or broaden your mind through the arts. More importantly, the subtle but sensational changes occurring within you allow you to let go of fear and allow the rebirthing process to occur. So that has to do with not being afraid of Hagalas, because you know at the end you'll turn into a butterfly. So it's that basically that whole renewal. Okay, individual tribes believe that butterfly predict weather and seasons and are bringers of dreams. So maybe they are much more intelligent and smarter than what we give them credit for. It allows you to emerge triumphantly into a new state of awareness. So a lot of people here in this group, you will end up somewhere new. That way you will have a whole new reality, basically. When you think about it, butterflies are very, I would say they're a bit fragile. But that fragility, I think that's really seen here. And that not letting everyone know what you're up to and keeping on a need-to-know basis. Very careful who you trust, I would say, in this group. But the less others know what you're doing, the better it will be for you. That's what I really feel with group 2. So let's do group 3. When I do this with the runes, and I try and find out more about the animals as well. And sometimes in this deck here you'll get spirit animals as well. So group 3. Wow, so that's pretty cool. One ended up here. See if you can see, but you won't see the rune didn't reveal itself. This is an interesting, when it shows up that many runes shows itself. It can mean that this is an animal or a being that is very eager to communicate, that it's plentiful, or that it even likes to stay in a group, or it's like could be a symbol of a tribe or pack, mentality in this animal. Again, I think this is an energetic animal. You get Brido next to Sovelo, that's behind, kind of pushing. So it could be about leadership, and could be like a pack mentality, maybe leading through, being the leader, but almost like leading from behind. I'm seeing very busy. The busyness you can see when everything turns itself up and reveals itself. You also see it in Yera here. It's very busy, a lot of stuff is going on. This is an animal who probably is very busy all the time, working to provide for itself, and it's a group. I do think this has to do with a group. Lagus showed up again reversed this time. When Lagus is reversed, it can mean that you're going against the stream, so you're a bit different, and maybe you do things very differently. Very unique individual, and maybe also avoid a lot of the common things. You can almost see it's almost like they're going around here. So this could be like a river, and they're almost like going around. So that can mean you're finding a path forward, but you have to maybe go around and not go into sort of the main stream. So you have to go a little bit around doing your own thing. And also here seems to be a lot of protection around family as well. And there could be an inheritance here in this group number 3. This here, there's also seems to be some ancestral stuff going on, but it is seen here in the Otala right next to Thuris house reversed, which means that there could be some family stuff going on, especially around property and an inheritance. Dagas ends up right here. which means it could mean that this is actually an animal even that migrates, because Dagos means like a new day, and it's right at the end, and it's almost like they're going somewhere new. So let's have a look. Wolf. I was thinking wolf because leading from behind, that's a typical thing that wolf does. So wolf and so I think family is very important with wolf because they live in such a strong family group. Let's see what wolf has to say. Wolf says teacher. Wolf allows you to become the teacher of wisdom of ancient times. So that's why also Talas is an inheritance, even if it is teachings that you have inherited as well. Howling to the moon connects it with psychic energy, which holds the secrets of the unconscious and subconscious mind. Wolf connects you to the divine mind to access and teach ancient wisdom, and encourages your inner self to bring forth the teaching of your own unique spiritual lineage. And that your spiritual lineage can, in many cases, be very connected to your ancestral line. Wolf enables you to connect to the elemental powers of the earth, as well as the cosmic gateways within our solar system. Through Wolf, you can access the ancient Akashic records that hold the keys and codes of all past knowledge stored within the universe. You're learning to work within a group in a more universal way. Let go of feelings of separation and disconnection with those around you. So that's what you're working on as well. Wounding around feeling disconnected to the group. And at the same time knowing who you are as an individual, and you are most likely a leader here. These runes here are very strong. So the leader in the wolf pack, I believe, always walk last, and the leader do lead from behind. So very interesting, guys. Let's do number 4. Oh, it ended up kind of everywhere. I have Berkano reverse over here. Isa is over here, kind of on half rolled over the pen. I got, this is all about divination. So this group could have a lot of diviners, or people very drawn to divination, because that went right in the middle. Algis here. Algis can be a bird foot, or it could be, it can also be like a antler on an elk, you know. It can mean to me it's a symbol also of Valkyries as well. Spiritual guidance. When it ends up down here, it could mean that you're kind of landing, so it can be like a bird. Maybe you feel like you should be flying, but it's like you're a bird with no that can't fly kind of thing. That can be a symbol of that feeling of having more, maybe you feel like you have more spiritual abilities and what you're able to use. Maybe you spread yourself a little too thin because your runes just went kind of everywhere with this group. But the middle one, the most important one, is Perto, which is a divination cup. So again, it has to work with law of synchronicity and with divination, and to that everything that you do, like you're very center actually, very centered, but everything really goes from reading energies and reading your environment and reading intuitively everything that goes on. And many people in this group I feel will be very drawn to divination. So what can we see if there's an animal here, or being even? It's almost like this is someone who's very good at they put their energy into so very many things. They're planting ideas here and there and kind of everywhere. But maybe they're not sure which which seed they really should nurture, because Berkano kind of ended up, I can't show you, but it ended up under my computer and it's reversed as well. So perhaps it's like you have a seed there, all you need to do is to put it into the ground. And also maybe you need to realize that you have a lot of potential, but maybe it's almost a little bit of fear of your own potential in this group here. So fear around your own potential. So maybe the seeker is, they need to know which seed to plant and what ideas to put on hold for while they're nurturing one idea at a time. What would I say about an animal that this could potentially be? I would say that this could be a wild animal that has been domesticated, and the reason I say that, it's almost like they live in in many different environments. So maybe it is an animal who has a wild side but a domesticated side as well. And maybe what you are dealing with now is trying to find your wild side and your domestic side. Maybe there's two very different things going on within you at the same time. Maybe you are a little bit like the bird that's not flying. Maybe you are a wild, spirit who feel a little bit trapped in the human experience. Maybe you feel a little bit frustrated with the routine. Maybe you feel like there's more out there for you to have and to experience. Kind of like what a wild animal would feel like if they ended up in a zoo or something like that. Because there's a commercial industry around this animal. So let's have a look and see. Dragon. So it is a fantasy animal and very commercialized animal. I would say dragons is in movies, is in art. It is, but it's not a domesticated animal, but it is a commercial animal for sure. It's a mythological animal. And dragon, let's see, it can mean so many things. In some cultures it means positive things, and in others it has negative meaning. So let's see. Okay, so when you're mastering dragon power, you are purifying your body and soul, perfecting the intent of the ego and connecting to the higher self and oversoul. You can then access divine will. One of the most vital keys to self-healing. You can develop your psychic abilities and complete a mastership process to achieve ascension. When you master dragon power, you begin to understand and attune your body and consciousness to the crystallized lines of Earth's magnetic gridding to access ancient information at sacred sites and to create the light body. So it has a little bit to do also with frustration of feeling of too dense in the body, which is you see here in algae, which can mean like a bird that kind of can't fly, like you feel like your spirit hasn't got enough freedom. So you can also enter hidden gateways or doorways into sacred realms to connect to the inner dimension realities of the galactic beings. Again, I think it really has to do feeling that it's a little bit trapped here in the earth reality, that you know that there's more out there and you really want to push forward, but perhaps it's hard to know exactly how to do it. When you master dragon power, you are passed through different stages of spiritual initiation. So a lot of you could be going through spiritual initiation in group 4, and that's why you're feeling frustrated as well. Because there are several pathways opening to you, but it's not very clear which one to take. And here it says, when you master dragon power, you pass through different stages of spiritual initiation, giving you the ability to connect to the realities, magical properties, powers, and knowledge of the sacred realms of the 13th gateway of Orion. I don't know what that is. These are the most sacred realms of all. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the 13th gateway of Orion is. But dragon is associated with magician, wizards, knights, and great heroes. It is an intelligent creature with a long lifespan, great wisdom and knowledge, ability to talk and connect to the weather. It's either the protector and savior of mankind or fear and destructive enemy. So it's a mythological animal that perhaps is a spirit animal. So, okay, this is good here. Dragon power opens the heart, chakras, and pranic centers to absorb chi energy and transmit it to all cells, living tissue, and organs in the body. So that's a good place to start. If you are in group 4 and you feel confused because you're in this spiritual initiation and you're very confused what to do, start with working with chi. One good place to start is to learn qigong. Then you learn to master the chi. You'll heal all of your organs, and you'll be able to also alter your own consciousness. The energy revitalizes your power center to enable you to counteract negative electromagnetic and cosmic energies resulting from the earth changes. It also protects against psychic attacks. So maybe you're feeling very scattered in this group, but what you really is mastering is your energy, your psychic ability, and you're going to be learning, a lot of you I feel, to master chi and working with chi. So I thought that was a really interesting group, guys. I'd love to hear what you guys are going through in group 4. Dragon is definitely pushing you at the moment because you're changing. You're being triggered perhaps as well a lot to go in a certain direction. It's actually guiding you through your emotions, good and bad, to take a certain action. Okay, number 5. Okay, number 5. One ended up here, so we got them all in. So this is kind of a nice line here. I don't know if I can move it a bit like this so you can see it. It's a really nice line here. It goes kind of like, well, I am here, so it goes like this. Very nice line. Actually, I've got a very positive feeling. As soon as I started with number 5, I felt really like this is a good energy here. And it had a nice curve, so it's a good flow of energy in this group. We also got Ingus rune, which is, I would say, is one of the more positive runes. It's connected to the Norse god of fertility, Frey, who makes things prosperous and everything's growing in your life. So I feel like there is a lot of rewards in this group. Things are going well. You must have made some good decisions, and you're going to reap the reward here in the era, which is like, you're sowing what you reap kind of thing, but it seems to be a really good thing. And also with it going like this, it feels like a nice flow of energy here. See if we can see anything about the animal or the being. Gentle, I would say it's a very gentle energy here. And also I feel like in this group it's more to do with your actions. Like there's a lot of free will in this group here. There's a lot of your, it's you're entered into a stage where there's a lot of what you are doing rather than it being destiny. Like it is part of your destiny, but it's actually now it's much more what you're choosing to do with it. And you have a choice, much more maybe than you felt in the past, that things are flowing really well for you. For some of you, especially if you want to really live on the land, and because both of these runes are really connected to the land, perhaps there is much more connection and living more simpler. Less drama, less conflict, and being able to support yourself and sustain your own life without depending so much on the outer world. I would say this is an animal that is quite, I would say, well adapted in their environment, but they could be on the top of the food chain, because I don't see a lot of of enemies here. You know, I don't think this is someone who's like being hunted or anything like that. I don't think it's an animal like that. It's more someone a little bit higher up on the food chain, or in the environment that they live. Perhaps there isn't a lot of natural enemies, so maybe it's in one of those countries that hasn't got a lot of natural enemies to this animal. And could also be connected to farming in some ways as well. So let's have a look. Pegasus. So it's a horse which is connected, I think, to farming, but it's not a real animal. It's a fantasy animal. So I guess it hasn't got any any predators that wants to eat it. Means that I think I read this as, at the moment, things are going really well for you. You have made good decisions in your life and you are reaping the rewards of that. You haven't got any enemies that I can see, that especially not anyone that's going to be able to cause you any problems. So Pegasus, let's read here. It says integrity is a key word. So, mastering Pegasus magic. Pegasus enables you to understand your energy, the impact it makes, and how it influences others. Again, cause and effect seen here in Gira here. It gives you the insight, courage, and foresight to use your will and power in a constructive and positive way, to become a more effective leader, and most importantly, a natural teacher of life skills. So maybe a lot of you will go more back to more like live more connecting to the land, using life skills. Pegasus also help you improve yourself through self-development, spiritual workshop, to master unique gifts within your chosen field of work or interest. You can become a highly skilled teacher, manager, and leader. You can resolve conflict issues while maintaining your power, status, and respect. So that's why it has nice things, just gets resolved nicely. Pegasus enables you to purify your power center and ego, to recognize the truth in a situation, thereby enabling you to re-educate others through your example. When you master the energies of Pegasus, you can defeat all obstacles, creating weakness within your integrity. That's why it looked like there was no enemies here, because you can easily here defeat all the obstacles. Pegasus people could be drawn into debating, becoming philosophers or spiritual teachers, published writers, editors, archaeologists, historians, self-defense, conflict resolutions, teachers, and trainers. So you're able to resolve conflicts with ease. Okay, number 6. Okay, number 6. One rune fell here, hit the pen and turned the other way. But it actually looks a little bit, sometimes they will fall into a rune. So this one actually looks like it fell into the shape of Hagelas. So it could mean that you're dealing with a little bit of difficult environment, like the outer environment could be maybe a little bit hostile in some ways. Maybe it's a climate as well, the way you're living, that's a bit harsh. The only rune that revealed itself was Gebo, and that can mean that it's a very strong connection to another person, and that this outer environment has made you too very strong, made a very strong connection to another person, but it's actually the environment around it that's created this connection, or helped you create this connection, because you had to be strong together. So it could be a very strong relationship or a very strong friendship, and if you feel like you don't have any of that at the moment, then that is what you are creating in this environment. This could be an environment that a lot of people want to move away from, but perhaps it's serving you a purpose here for now, because it is actually creating a strong connection to other people, especially I feel one person. What sort of animal could this be? It could be an animal that can work closely with humans, that helps humans, I would say, because with Gebot it's often that there's a connection there. It's give and take and give, and there's like a very symbiotic, mutual relationship going on. So it could be that there's a strong link between humans and these animals. This animal could possibly evoke a lot of, perhaps even compassion in people. Could be a companion to humans. Let's see. Dragonfly. Dragonfly. Let's read what Dragonfly says. Clarity. If you master Dragonfly magic, you could shift your perception to see and know absolute truth. It cuts through situations by shifting the frequency of the heart, enable you to embody compassion and foundation of profound and positive change. It creates an enlightenment process within situations and circumstances in your life, enabling you to maintain your emotional equilibrium and mental clarity while giving you the internal resources to create the changes within your reality to fulfill your heart's desire. Okay, so here it says, a dragonfly connects you to the elemental beings or nature, spirits of the plant kingdom. These amazing beings help restore and balance the ecosystem of the world. So that's where that symbiotic relationship is, specifically in areas under threat, such as the Amazon rainforest, and we won't be able to live without them. So if we took out dragonfly out of the environment, that would be disastrous for humans. You can take out one simple thing and everything is out of balance. So we might live much more in connection to nature than what we realize. We don't realize that an animal like dragonfly has that much significance to our survival. So dragonfly enables you to open and balance your sensitivity so you can energetically reconnect to nature, which basically will open your heart and instills feelings of joy and grace. So that's the whole purpose really of the dragonfly spirit. You see it as a spirit animal, is to have a deep connection to humans so that we then learn to care for nature so that we will also survive as a species. So that's sometimes when you do this sort of work, like I've been a bit surprised a few times when I expected kind of another animal, but then when you read what their significance is, you realize what it actually means. I thought maybe this was an animal that we kind of worked with the way we can work with horses kind of thing. But a dragonfly, it means we are in an energetic symbiotic relationship with them because they're opening our heart to connect to nature. And also dragonfly restore and balance ecosystems, which we probably don't know much about or even appreciate that much. So working with these actually is really powerful because you learn about the animals and their importance as well. Both their spiritual importance and their physical importance. And it makes you really appreciate the world around you in a really profound way. So I would say dragonfly. So maybe because one of their roles is to purify the ecosystem and to create balance, perhaps a lot of people in group 6, they are in, like, remember this is like Hagalas, it's like an environment that's a bit under threat. Maybe it's not a very good environment, but by sticking together, by working together, you can actually change this environment. That's what I really feel like it means, and dragonfly really will give you that sensitivity and the insight and the clarity to do so. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my animal magic today with the runes, and let me know which number you picked and if it correlated to anything you're going through. I picked number 4, and And when I saw the runes just scatter everywhere, I thought, oh, it's so me to have, I put my energy over there, my energy over here, and then I start something over there, and now I'm over there doing something. While everything in the middle is the divination and working with intuition. But when you're an intuitive person, often then you end up feeling inspired and drawn in all kinds of direction, and dragon will, I think for me anyway, it will help me be a little bit more discerning. So guys, let me know what number you picked.